So if you guys don't know what's going on with the debt ceiling, I'm going to try and not be hyperbolic about it. Okay? Basically, if the Democrats are unable to come to a deal with Republicans regarding the debt ceiling, or if Republicans do not achieve a deal with the Democrats, um, we will hit a debt crisis in the United States. We will have to default on the national debt of the United States. Um, and that would be bad. How bad would it be? Well, first of all, there would be untold suffering amongst people in the United States. If you're not in like the middle class, you're fucked. If you are in the middle class, you going down a rung, okay? You going down to the working class. Um on top of that, it would cause global financial upheaval, um the likes of which we haven't seen in a very long time. Yeah, it would basically be the trigger for an event very similar to Black Friday in American history, the day the American economy collapsed and started the Great Depression. It'd be very similar to that, except instead of it just being America, it would be the entire goddamn world. The US dollar would no longer be kind of the basis of international exchange. Um, it would essentially turn this situation from, well, how do I put this? It would essentially mean the end of U.S. hegemony. It would herald kind of the downfall of the U.S. economy, leading to a multipolar world where different countries rise as kind of regional pillars of economic development. And you might be like, oh, well, that's a good thing. Well, keep in mind, people in America would suffer greatly, but so would people literally everywhere. It would not be good. It would be, in fact, extraordinarily bad, for the entire planet. Again, Great Depression, but for the entire planet. Now, what's interesting here, and again, that's me trying not to be hyperbolic. Should I? So I should go buy gold? I mean, I don't know. I don't know what you should do. Don't ask me. Not financial advice. Um, but things would be very, very bad. But this article came out today in Politico. Centrist Dems are plotting a save McCarthy strategy for the debt fight. And at first glance, you might be like, well, hmm. Well, that seems like weaselly little Democrats like trying to suck up to conservatives, you know? Invest in Pokemon cards. Gold would still be the standard, would it not? I mean, maybe. Gold tends to be one of the more stable markets, but there's really no guarantee once the entire world goes into free fall. Let's see. So, like, the Republicans obviously don't want to give up U.S. Hegemony, but they sound very willing to default. Well, yeah, because on the one hand, right, they don't want to hurt the United States economically because their donors would hate that. On the other hand, Donald Trump is getting up in front of his rallies and on CNN and just shouting to the world that, we fuck it. Let's drive over the cliff. Let's Thelma and Louise it. Okay, the Democrats are going to make us do it anyway. Let's call them on their bluff. And so Donald Trump has put the Republicans in kind of a bind, because if they concede and vote to raise the debt ceiling, they'll look weak. They will look like they are going against Donald Trump, and that will lead to political consequences for them from his base. On the other hand, you also have the conservatives who are in Congress who are frankly just suicidally committed to conservatism. You know, your Marjorie Taylor Greens, your Lauren Boebert, okay, Boebert. These people do not give a shit if they drive the U.S. economy off the cliff, as long as they're doing it for some abstract notion of patriotism, as long as they can fire red, white, and blue fireworks out of the tailpipe of their exhaust, of their car as they go. You know, that's all they care about. And so you have like these people who are just like, we need to, add all of the craziest shit we can, right? They're trying to add like work requirements for like Medicaid and work requirements for like Social Security. Like they are doing like their wet dreams all over any of the negotiating and basically making it impossible. So one of the issues that we have here is that it seems like the most likely outcome, if I'm going to be 100% honest with you, is that Joe Biden will cave because that's what he does. It seems like he will give in to their demands, and there will be massive cuts to social spending and social safety nets that will probably lead to some kind of economic downturn into like I don't know, like a depressing quagmire, similar to like the post 2008 economic collapse, but probably a little less severe. That's the most likely outcome to my mind. Okay. However, there are a couple other options on the table. Okay. Oh god. Sorry, my bad. Do. Okay, so one of the other options that's on the table, and that the Biden administration knows is on the table, is something called the 14th Amendment. Okay? The 14th Amendment is essentially... there's a part of it that reads, the validity of the public debt of the United States authorized by law, including debts incurred for payment of pensions and bounties for services in suppressing insurrection or rebellion, shall not be questioned. And this section of the amendment was made directly in response to the debt incurred during the Civil War by the North. And the argument is essentially that the federal government is required to pay its debts. And if Congress cannot align itself to ensure that that happens, the executive branch could come in to ensure that the U.S. debts are paid and the debt ceiling is raised. But this would effectively take the debt ceiling negotiations off the table in the future, because essentially this has been a way for the party that is out of power to try and get its legislative priorities through in a Mitch McConnell controlled world where essentially the state of political being is to deny and stop any kind of bipartisanship. Back in 2007, in Straea, the PM we had wanted to place a 40% super profits tax that applied to any profits exceeding 1 billion. The mining industry ran smear campaigns that weren't even affiliated with any party. It was just to smear Kevin Rudd. Yeah, I mean, like, a lot of this doesn't even have to do with like taxation. This is the Republicans' one chance to like get some of their priorities passed. And instead of actually trying to get any priorities passed, they are demanding everything that they want. So if Biden does cave on this, it is going to be extraordinarily bad. Has there ever been a political figure who advocated for nationalizing businesses that go bust? Yes. Oops. Yeah, we got some trust busters in the past. Yeah, exactly, GamerG. It's literally as easy as invoking the 14th Amendment, and this problem goes away. Democrats are just too weak to use the tools placed before them because they want to seem like they're negotiating in good faith. And the problem is their opponents are not negotiating in good faith at all. It's also a case of Biden and the Dems to think that they can work across the aisle. Exactly. Biden prides himself on being able to make these deals possible. I don't... That's why I said the most likely outcome is that Biden caves. I think that is the most likely outcome. And what's interesting about this Politico article about centrist Dems plotting a Save McCarthy strategy for the debt fight is that... who leaked this? Right? Like, who leaked this to Politico? Yeah, Kevin McCarthy faces a clear challenge if he tries to strike a debt limit deal. Any compromise he makes with Joe Biden risks sparking a conservative rebellion aimed at ending his speakership. But some Democrats have a plan to spare him. A small group of moderate Democratic lawmakers has quietly reassured its House GOP counterparts that it can help protect McCarthy's gavel if his right flank revolts over a debt agreement. According to two people familiar with the discussions, if conservatives respond to a McCarthy-Biden deal by forcing a full House vote on ousting the California Republican, Democrats say they have enough members to help block it, keeping him in power. So, and we'll protect him if he does the right thing, said one of the House Democrats involved in the talks. So, what's interesting about this, right? Hey, chat, just back from my first day at a great new job. Yo, congratulations, Kropotkin's Loaf. So, what's interesting about this isn't the information, right? It's not that interesting that moderate Democrats are trying to make a deal with moderate conservatives to protect Speaker McCarthy. That's not that weird. What is weird is that this information leaked at all. Because I'm going to go out on a limb and guess that moderate Democrats did not leak this information. Moderate Democrats who are interested in protecting McCarthy don't want that information to get out. Because frankly, if it does, it doesn't make them look good. And Republicans don't want this information to get out. Or should I say, moderate Republicans don't want this information to get out because they don't want to look like they're working with Democrats, you know? So, there's kind of a weird question here. Who leaked this and why? And I do have to say, I think Republicans leaked this. I think Republicans deliberately leaked this story to Politico. Specifically to completely tank this plan. Because they want to get their far-right priorities through. Now, I could be wrong. I could be wrong. But I think they want to tank this plan and perhaps secure the ousting of House Speaker McCarthy. Perhaps secure that. And I'm going to go out on a limb. Maybe one of those Republicans involved in that discussion wasn't as moderate as one might think. Now, again, this is all speculation. I just don't find it that likely that a moderate Democrat had the spine to go to this negotiation and then leak this information. Seems more likely than progressive Dems. Well, yeah, and progressive Dems weren't in on this conversation. And I would also say that moderate conservatives at this point in time in Congress, moderate conservatives are still fucking crazy. You know, like a moderate conservative today would have been like a insane Tea Partier like 15 years ago. Exactly what I was thinking. Either one of the moderate Dems aren't so moderate, or a Hogg staffer got a hold of the info and leaked it. I think it's a Hogg staffer. Because honestly, even a progressive Democrat, I think would view a potential deal to like torpedo Republican demands as a relatively good thing at this juncture. You know, it still wouldn't look good, but like what we're doing right now is staring down a barrel of a gun aimed at the entire fucking planet. You know, like it's. I think progressive Dems would have looked at this and taken the win, or at least the perceived win, you know, as opposed to far right Hogg, who would see this as a threat to their potential future power, and also, you know, be essentially a betrayal of their MAGA values, you know. So, yeah, the debt ceiling, there's not really much any of us can do about it. We're just going to have to sit here and wait and see what happens. But it's going to come to a conclusion. I think the speculation was that the debt ceiling needed to be raised by early June, by like the first week of June. Possibly the end of July. So keep an eye on this, guys, because if nothing is done, it's going to get real bad real fast. I legit think a good 20 to 30 Republicans in the House are actively trying to cause a default so they can rush in their apocalypse scenario so they can act out their fascism. Yeah. Also, keep in mind, if we do pass the debt ceiling window, there will be a couple weeks during which there's still some hope. Okay, it's not like there's an instantaneous everything is bad button. There will be a few weeks where the United States will have the opportunity to come up with some kind of a plan, and it will still be a bad economic downturn, but it won't be plunging the entire world into a Great Depression bad outcome. So, yeah. Keep that in mind. Plus, evangelicals are in fact pro-apocalypse. True.